It's a frightening number. Canada has more young carers per capita than any other in the world. In Ontario alone, there are 500,000 youth between the ages of 15 and 24 caring for a sibling, parent, or grandparent. Joining us this morning to shed light on this situation is Emily, who began caring for her mom at the age of 15. Emily, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
What was it like? Your mom had early onset dementia, right?
Yeah, so it's been 8 years now. It's been a difficult caregiving journey, lots of ups and downs, of course, emotional roller coaster, and now she's in the later stages of the disease, so she's not really able to communicate very well with us, but I think she understands a little more than we give her credit for.
And you were lucky because you had a home care worker helping you out. But it was still a long, full, busy day every day for you, was it not? Even when you were 15 years old, you're dealing with things that most adults have trouble dealing with.
Yeah, for sure. I remember thinking back of when I was going to high school, I would be helping getting my mom ready for her day before I even got ready for mine. So I think it was definitely hard to juggle, and it continues to be different challenges as you progress through the disease.
What was a day like for you?
So days are very busy at our house, but in the morning, getting her ready for her day program, because fortunately she was able to go to a day program where they could kind of tend to her needs. So getting her ready, we would have a personal support worker come in, help her dress and bathe, and then feed her breakfast. So I'd kind of help in with that, jumping in when they need an extra hand. Then she's out the door in the evenings, coming back, helping to feed her, which can take a very long time, and then waiting around for the PSW to come and helping with that bedtime routine.
And it was the time that it was difficult. How did you find time for school and doing your schoolwork at home and things like that?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. You kind of feel like you have one eye on your schoolwork and one eye on the person that you're caring for, and so it's really hard to juggle all these things. And I think with caring for someone, you just have to learn those skills, those time management, the patience, and kind of work around. It does consume these areas of your life, and you may not have even expected it.
And did you feel you missed out on things?
Yeah, I think that I missed out on hanging out with my friends. I would have to turn down a lot of social events, and I know being in my early 20s, it's hard because you're trying to make all these career options, and you're trying to do what's best for you in your future, and it's hard when you have to be here in the present and be here for your family. So I think it's taken my consideration of where I want to go to school and that into account, but I think I have a really great family system who we all kind of pitch in to make sure that the other person can do what they need to.
I just want to get in one last question.
For
It's
sure.
Young Carers Awareness Day, and the Change Foundation has launched their new podcast called Hidden Voices, Stories of Young Carers. Why is that so important?
It's so important to share individual stories because there's such a lack of awareness. I think a lot of people, when I talk about my story, are like, wow, I never thought about young people caregiving. And I think there's way more out there than we realize, and their stories are so different. I care for my mom, but other people care for their sibling or grandparent, and every story comes with its own challenges.
I can imagine. And your mom is now in a long-term care facility?
Yes, she is. So it was a hard transition. She just moved in December, and with that transition comes a lot of feelings of, sadness that I don't get to see her, wonder if she's getting good care there, but also there is relief and, of course, guilt that comes with feeling that relief.
I can imagine. And you're in school and you're going for your master's now.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for joining us this morning
you.
and sharing your story. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
The Change Foundation's podcast, Hidden Voices, Stories of Young Carers, is launching today. For more info, go to breakfasttelevision.ca. We'll have more on BT coming up after the break.